Greetings, everybody. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Hope everybody's enjoying this awesome holiday season with their family, friends, loved ones, and neighbors. I'm Jeremy Burke. I'm one of the owners and brewers here at Tuned Up Brewing Company, and this is going to be our first official podcast and video chat, whatever you want to call it. Just want to get our story out there and start expanding on what we're doing in social media. A little bit about our brewing company. We've been in business almost 3 years now. We opened our doors March 1st, 2016. I've been homebrewing a little bit over 23 years now. It started when I got a homebrew kit as a wedding gift from one of my best friends. As soon as I got home from the honeymoon, first thing I wanted to do was start making a beer. The first time out of the gate, it was a disaster. Boilovers, hops all over the place, just awful mess. And of course, my wife was not having anything to do with that. So I kind of did a little bit of reading up on it, went back to found a hobby store that's sold supplies and got a couple more ingredients and tried again and actually brewed a pretty decent beer. The first beer I was able to do successfully was that batch, and it was an Irish Red. And it's a beer that we still have on tap today. Roughly the same recipe that I started out with 23 years ago. Homebrewing for me was something that I became very passionate about. I enjoyed it. It was just kind of cool to be able to make a beer instead of having to run out to the store and buy just whatever was on the shelves at the time. That was in 1995, and back then craft beer choices were very limited. Sam Adams was around, Dogfish Head was around, Sierra Nevada, and maybe a couple others. Not a whole lot of choices, though. Typically, it was Bud Light, Miller, Coors, et cetera, et cetera. Most of us grew up on those beers, and I don't knock those beers at all. They're not my first choice. I know the craft beer industry is kind of taken a big offensive against the big macro beers, but it's, you know, those are the kind of the founding fathers of beer as we know it today. So we have to kind of embrace that, you know, even though they're selling 30 packs for $12, you know, it's whatever. It's cheap beer, but people enjoy it. We have a real passion for brewing. We try to do things, I'd say a mix of traditional, true to form styles, as well as we like to experiment and shake things up a little bit. There's even been a few beers that we've created just because people are asking for it. You take our New England style IPAs that we do. We never thought we'd do beers like that because when they first started to trend a little bit, we thought, this is a fad, it's gonna go away. But more and more people kept asking us to do those beers, so we brewed one. And to date, just for the last 9 months that we've had that on, it's been one of the most popular beers that we've ever sold, to the point where we're selling it off premise now. A lot of bars are asking for it. Yeah, so how did we get our start? Well, I met my partner Clint back, I want to say 2006, 2007. I was running fire over at our local fire company. He was our deputy EMS chief at the time, and the two of us kind of just started talking about beer and homebrewing, and he hadn't really got into homebrewing yet, so he and I started brewing together, and we had a few other people at the station that enjoyed homebrewing, so we all kind of started to get together on weekends, and everybody would go to somebody's house and brew there. We'd go to Clint's house or my house, wherever. And it just kind of took off from there. And then what evolved from that was Clint and I just started taking it to one extreme to the next. You know, instead of just brewing a single 5-gallon batch on that weekend, we would brew 3 or 4. And then 3 or 4 turned into 5 or 6. And then we really enjoyed the idea of, all right, we're getting up at 6 a.m., we're getting all our stuff together, and by 7 o'clock, we got water heating and, you know, we're getting our mash going. And we would brew for 12 hours and just see how much we could get done. We had a lot of beer. And he had a sun porch built on the side of his garage, and we got together one day and just started building a bar in there and doing the floors, ceiling, everything, just a lot of good woodworking in there. Outfitted some bar stools, some couches in there. We had a great, nice little lounge where friends and family could come and hang out and drink our beer. And it was on one particular evening, it was a Saturday night, I believe. We're both standing behind the bar pouring beer from the taps, and I gave him an elbow and said, hey, turn around, look at this. And we kind of scanned around the room and looked at everybody, and I said, dude, what are we doing? We got to start selling this beer. We could make so much money. We got a packed house right now. We only have 4 beers on tap. And that was kind of the catalyst for getting us started. I mean, owning a brewery was something I always wanted to do, but it was just getting into it just seemed daunting. I didn't know how to do it, didn't know where to find the information on it. There was always a reason not to, and it seemed like money was always the obstacle. But finally at that moment, he and I got together, and I said, "That's it, we're doing this." So next day, I started putting a business plan together. We started figuring out how much it was going to cost just to get minimal amount of equipment, a small space, and just get moving into this. And from there, it evolved into what we have today. And it's something we're very proud of. We've been growing pretty well, and we started on a shoestring, and we've become very profitable, and we're very happy and proud of that. Our fan base, I think, has grown so much. It's kind of cool that we have a pretty good mix of regulars from here in town, as well as we have a lot of people from the regional area that have found us either through Facebook or Instagram, or just found us because they were at another brewery and people were talking about our place. That's one of the cool things too, is that I know some of the owners of different restaurants and bars that we sell to have all said that, "Hey, yeah, we had a crew in here the other night and they were all talking about your beers and said we got to get you on tap. So bring some samples in." So we've actually gotten some good off-premise customers just by our fans talking about us to the different venues that they go to. Anyways, yeah, so you'll see lots of videos from us. Hopefully, we're going to try to mix it up and do some just talking directly about beer and our brewery and how things are going with us, as well as I want to talk about different styles of beer. Maybe we can kind of help educate the community on different beer types and beer styles. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. Follow us on all of our social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, soon to be Snapchat, anywhere else that we can get to. So if you have a certain social media platform that you like that we're not on, please let me know. I'll make sure that we get on it. Until then, cheers and have a wonderful holiday season. Take care, everybody.